Hello everybody, I thought I'd share with you what I got on Record Store Day, April 13th, 2019. I queued up at Agarda Records in St. Paul at 6 a.m. I was third in line and waited 2 hours for them to open at 8 a.m. and got the top three on my list. And plus I picked up another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show them to you the order that I picked them up as I took them off the shelf, basically. So the first one I got was the Pink Floyd Saucer Full of Secrets mono version. You guys already seen what that looks like. I'm just going to go through these fairly quick because I don't want to waste anybody's time more than necessary. The second one was the Bob Dylan Blood on the Tracks test pressing LP. This pressing has a little problem with it. There's a scratchy sound on tracks 2 through 5 intermittently. It didn't come up as much as when I brought it back to the record shop, but it's a little more pronounced on my system. But I'm going to live with it. The third one was Albert King, Born Under a Bad Sign. Pretty good album, pretty good. I thought a couple of the tracks, the vocals could have been leveled up a little higher, but all in all, it was enjoyable. I've listened to all these albums, so I know what. And the third one, or the fourth one, I should say, I picked up Steve Wilson Cats and Trains. This is, see if I can put that in there. Steve Wilson used to be the lead singer, lead guitarist for Porcupine Tree, or rhythm guitar, and the creative genius behind Porcupine Tree. And he's put out a lot of releases under his own name now too, and this is kind of a cool. I mean, this particular record it's just an acoustic set. It was recorded in Tel Aviv, Israel, and came on this kind of interesting translucent, I don't know what you would call it, kind of a dirty clear or white vinyl. And the sound quality of this is not too well. It is a bootleg, and it's to be what's expected. It's better sound quality than most bootlegs, but still it's not recording studio or professionally recorded the way albums normally are. That one away. I was debating whether I should have bought it or not because there wasn't any markings and it didn't look like an official release by them, but I took a chance out of curiosity because I'm a huge Steve Wilson fan, as you're going to find out at the end of the video. I got out of Agarda Records. It only took me 15 minutes to find everything I wanted there, and I just wanted to get out of the crowd. I mean, I was third in line. The queue went all the way down the block and almost around the building, so there was probably several hundred people in line to take advantage of Record Store Day. So nearby is Barely Brothers Record. It's probably about 4 blocks away, so I hightailed it over there. They were opening up at 8:30, so a half hour after Agarda Records did, and I managed to get in line about 30th there, and I picked up this Poppies album. I've seen other people have gotten this, and this is really, really good. If you happen to see it in the leftover bin, I highly suggest it. It's very interesting. Side 1 is much better than side 2. I'll give you that, but it was a good listen. I enjoyed it. Then, Bearley Brothers, that's the only thing I picked up at Bearley Brothers. I was going to go back later and check out a couple of bands that were playing in the afternoon. And so I hightailed it over to Minneapolis to this place called Dead Media Records and Books. And I got there, there's nobody in line, and I got out and I looked, and I'm like, oh, okay, they don't open till 10. And so I was probably a little over an hour early, so I went out and had some breakfast, and then I came back. And I was probably, I don't know, 8th or 9th in line at about, 5 minutes before they opened. And they're a very small record store. They've got a lot of alternate books used and new books, and they have an interesting curation of records. But like I said, it's very small. They don't get a lot for Record Store Day. That's why I kind of made it my third shop just to see if they had anything different. And I was able to nab this on my list, Otis Redding, the live at the Monterey Pop Festival. And yeah, I was shocked to find it, actually. This was kind of like an extra that was on my list, and they happened to have it, so I picked that up along with a couple other ones. This band was recently in town, Spiritualized, and I saw them their show at the Fitzgerald Theater. And the name of this LP is Ladies and Gentlemen, We Are Floating in Space. And if you're not familiar with Spiritualized, give them a listen. They're an interesting band, kind of psychedelic. They got a little gospel in it and psychedelic gospel-y sound, I guess. But I really like these guys, and I have a couple of their earlier albums, but they fell off my radar for about 10 years, and I decided to check them out again when I saw them at the theater, and so I picked this one up at Dead Media. I also picked up the New York punk band Television, and this is a fantastic LP. And this is a reissue on 180 gram vinyl, 2-record set. A little pricey, but I'm glad I bought it. I really enjoy this record. It's going to get a few more spins in my rotation. Then, I also picked up a used record of Aerosmith live. I think this was recorded live at Leeds, I believe. And since I was a kid, I've always wanted this record. I thought it was always fantastic. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be good. It's got all the great early Aerosmith tunes on it. So this is from 1978. Then I went to, after Dead Media, I thought I would go to a place called Solid State Records. They actually open up at 7 a.m., but they're a newer record store. I wasn't sure what they were going to get, and so that's why I decided to hit Garda first at 8. Plus, I didn't want to get up that early. And they still had, believe it or not, they must have had 10 copies of Pink Floyd's Saucer Full of Secrets. And they had a few others that I kind of hemmed and hawed, but I skipped it. And then I just ended up buying 3 records from them. And this is one of them, another Spiritualized record. And this one is from 2012. They played a lot of songs at the show I saw off of this one. Very enjoyable. I really, really like this one a lot. Then, as I was digging through there, they have tons and tons of used records. And it's like, again, it's a smaller store, but they had a great, a good selection, well curated. I was kind of shocked to find this. This is another record that I've wanted for a long time, but I've never picked it up. It was kind of off my radar. Bad Company's debut album, and this is a remastered version. It's a two record set, and sounds absolutely wonderful. The second record are previously unreleased tracks and demos and whatnot. I haven't listened to the second one. I was rocking out to the first disc. This way. I also picked up, and I've been kind of looking for this. I've been kind of in the Jay Giles mood lately as well. I've picked up a couple of their records. I have had the LP with Freeze Frame for a long time, probably since high school, and I've been looking for this one for a little while. This is their Bloodshot LP, and it's on red vinyl. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that one. I'm not going to bore you with opening it up. Then I was headed back towards home, and I thought, well, I'll stop at Cheapo Records in St. Paul, and that's normally my go-to record store, but I figured, they're so big, and I knew they were going to have tons and tons of people there. So I thought I'll just go there and see what they had left over. And they too had probably 20 copies of Pink Floyd's Saucer Full of Secrets, which really, really shocked me. And a couple other ones that I would have thought would have sold well, like the Crow soundtrack and Breaking Bad soundtrack. They had those still. I'm not much of a soundtrack guy, so that didn't interest me. But I know I've seen other videos on YouTube, and a lot of people were after that. So if you can, check out Cheapo Records. Maybe they still have it. So I ended up picking up this kind of as an afterthought record store day purchase. Elvis Costello and the Imposters, the Purse EP. It's all right. It's not great, but it's good. It was a nice listen. So then, those very successful record store day, but it gets even better than that because way on the other side of the metro area, there's a place called Mill Street Sound, or Mill City Sound, excuse me. And I was working over there on Monday, so after I finished, I walked down the block and thought I'd check out to see what they had left over, because there was a band that I knew there wasn't going to be very many copies of, and it was a regional release, exclusive, limited to, I think, 450 copies. And lo and behold, they had it. Great band. These guys are so good. Six String Drag, the Jag Sessions. If you haven't heard or listened to these guys, I highly suggest you do. They are fantastic. And this one came on red vinyl, as you can see. I'll just take the whole thing out. There you go. This is a great record for unreleased material, and from these guys. I believe they're based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I saw them play many years ago, and I have one of their CDs. But again, they kind of fell off my radar. And when I saw this on one of the record store day releases, I thought, if it's available here, I'm going to pick it up. And that's exactly what I was able to do. So that was fantastic. So it was a phenomenal record store day. Normally, I have a list of 3, maybe 4 records. And I got the 3 right off the bat. So that was cool. Also, this is one I haven't seen anybody else get. This L7 7-inch disc. This was limited, I think, to 1,500 copies, and there's 2 songs on it from their upcoming album. And I gave this a spin, and it's freaking fantastic. I love L7. All-girl punk band for those who are not familiar with them. I saw them play in Seattle many, many years ago. I was like, oh, cool. And this will be these are 2 tracks off like I said, off their forthcoming album. It'll be their first album in 18 years. So good to see them back. If you see this, yeah, highly suggested, because these girls rock. They definitely rock. Oh, and then here's another one I picked up. What was this? Yeah, it wasn't a part of anything really. I was at the record store and I picked Mercury Rev, the Light in You record, used. Fantastic shape. There's the gatefold, and this is another band that I've always liked, but I don't have a lot of their music. So I thought I'd give this a listen to, since it was. Oh, and it also comes on white vinyl. I'm just gonna. The sleeve is very tight, so I'll just show you what the vinyl looks like there. And now for the creme de la creme. Like I said, I'm a huge Porcupine Tree Steve Wilson fan. And, and he falls under the category of prog rock and what have you. But great songwriter, composer. And he did, a little over a year ago, he did a live concert at the Royal Albert Hall. And it was released on DVD. It was 3 shows. And he just came out with the 5 record set. Look at that puppy. There's the front cover. And I'm going to open it up right here and now for you. We'll see. I don't want to. And this arrived, I ordered it through Amazon. I don't like ordering records through services and whatnot. It's just me. I like the hunt, There's been albums that have taken me 5-10 years to find, but I eventually find them. But I knew this was, it was only going to be available through mail order, so I went that route. And wow, this is a lot of records. Let's see what we have here. Got this nice booklet. Wow, look at that. That is Royal Albert Hall. This was a concert I would have loved to have seen. And I'll just show you a couple of. So, if you ever check out Steven Wilson and you like his stuff, and some of it's kind of out there. I don't like all of his stuff, but I do like most of it. He's much more popular in Europe than he is in the United States. He plays a lot bigger venues there. Here it's mostly 2, maybe 3,000 seat theaters. So this is disc 1. I'll just go through 1 or 2 discs and then we'll call it good, because I have no idea if these are on colored vinyl or what. Nope, they're on black. 180 gram black vinyl. So, that is my Record Store Day haul. I should call it Record Store Week haul for the most part. I was very happy with everything I got. I love Record Store Day, you know, and I know people don't like the lines and whatnot, but it's just a lot of fun. And even if I don't get anything, it's, you know, the atmosphere and it was nice because there was no shoving or pushing. Everybody was very courteous to each other. And even at the second place at Barely Brothers, he was very impressed with how we behaved ourselves, trying to finagle in his small space to get what we wanted. So it was very successful. I hope everyone had a nice experience. And I guess that's the conclusion of my video. I don't do these very often because I don't know. I'm lazy? That could be it. So this is Rusty Rabbit. I'm going to call this Rusty's Revolutions, and maybe I'll make some more of these if anybody watches them. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.